Hi, this is Lynn and welcome back. Today we're talking about one of my favorite OTC stocks. It's only a 7-cent stock, Enzolytics, ticker symbol ENZC, and they are bringing some absolutely fantastic solutions to the medical field and to help you with your health. It's to help many different diseases as well as COVID and HIV. Remember that OTC stocks are highly risky, and I only invest money in them that I can afford to lose. High risk versus high potential reward. Remember also that this video is my opinion only, so do your own due diligence. There's a lot of new information I wanted to bring to you about Enzolytics, and they are developing infectious disease treatments. They've been in business for 40 years with drug development excellence. And remember to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. So Enzolytics is committed to the commercialization of its proprietary proteins for the treatment of debilitating infectious diseases. They are committed to developing monoclonal antibody therapy and treating those infectious diseases. Here you'll see the Yahoo Finance profile for Enzolytics and their year-to-date chart. So you can see the stock has been sliding back. A stock like this needs to show some good financials or some really great news for it to rise up. It's a market cap of only 191 million. It doesn't have a PE ratio at this time because it's not yet profitable. It's still developing its drugs, but making good progress. And you can see the 50-week range in price from 0.06 cents, and they have an average volume traded per day of over 10 million shares. So they have some great company news. Enzolytics highlights its comprehensive PCT patent application covering discovered conserved target epitopes on the SARS-CoV-2 and HIV viruses. This is a March 25th article. So in submission under the Patent Cooperation Act, Enzolytics has pending international patent applications covering the use of any of its discovered numerous conserved coronavirus epitopes or conserved HIV epitopes in the production of monoclonal antibodies, the production of vaccines, or the use of diagnostic tests for detecting the viruses in patients. By using computer analysis, AI, the company has analyzed over 2 million different isolates of the coronavirus. From that analysis, the company identified 19 conserved immutable sites, epitopes, on the virus. The 19 conserved sequences identified on the isolates analyzed identified on the basis that they are 98% to 99% conserved over the entirety of the over 2 million coronavirus isolates, which have been analyzed by the company using artificial intelligence. Enzolytics has analyzed over 2 million coronavirus isolates and over 100,000 HIV isolates and have identified 19 conserved sites, 98 to 99% on the coronavirus, and 9 conserved sites on the HIV virus. The company's patent claims cover these findings in a number of ways, claiming the use of any one identified epitope or any combination of any of the multiple identified epitopes in any of the following ways: for producing a therapeutic monoclonal antibody to treat HIV or the coronavirus, for producing a vaccine, for producing related prophylactic therapeutic methods related to the epitopes, antigens, for use in any diagnostic test to identify whether a person has HIV or the coronavirus. The life for any patent issued is 20 years from the effective priority date, which would be great for Enzolytics. Means that they could bring in funds over the next 20 years once this patent is acknowledged. Charles Katropia, the company's CEO, said, "The breadth of patent coverage that is sought and expected is extremely far-reaching based on the discovery of the critical target epitope sites necessary to effectively neutralize these viruses." The company has also identified conserved epitopes using its AI platform on multiple other viruses, including HIV-2, influenza A and B, H1N1 influenza, respiratory virus RSV, and others. Numerous mutants have arisen during the coronavirus pandemic, and monoclonal antibodies produced by pharma have failed as a result of the mutation of the virus. As recently as early this year, anti-COVID-19 monoclonal antibodies produced by Regeneron and Eli Lilly were found ineffective against the Omicron variant, and their use was discontinued. Targeting the conserved sites discovered by Enzolytics allows the production of a therapeutic that will not be rendered ineffective due to mutant variants of the virus. This is fantastic news. They don't have to keep producing solutions. In other words, even a variant form of the virus will contain the immutable targeted sites. Targeting immutable sites avoids the ineffectiveness that is experienced when a therapeutic or vaccine targets a site that has mutated. Next, we look at the March 14th article about Enzolytics' wholly owned subsidiary Virogentics reports progress on the delivery of its ITV-1 anti-HIV therapeutic for use by patients in African regions. So they're trying it out there, testing it out on patients. Today they announced the progress toward the production and use of this anti-HIV immune therapy treatment in the central and eastern regions of Africa for patients with HIV/AIDS. Toxicology studies of the immunotherapy are planned, a prerequisite to use of the immune therapy in certain African countries where the therapies will be used. These toxicology studies will also be used in the company's progress toward clinical studies necessary for EMA approval. So in Europe, the ITV-1 therapeutic has succeeded in clinical studies earlier, and the company is planning additional trials leading to this EMA approval. So this is progress. We've been hearing about this all last year. The company has commitments for the production of an initial quantity for use in 2 African hospitals. A follow-on production will be provided to treat a larger group of HIV/AIDS patients, followed by a much larger commitment potentially to treat 30,000 patients. Now that would be a really solid clinical trial. The only therapy for treating infected patients is anti-rational ARV drugs, but these drugs are not available to 27% of those infected. The ARV therapies which are available cause substantial side effects and are expensive. The ARV therapy Biktarvy, produced by Gilead, costs $42,635 per year. The global HIV market is estimated to be over $30 billion this year and is expected to grow to over $36 billion globally by 2027. That's definitely a huge market to go after, while Enzolytics is helping people improve their health and helping them survive these dreadful diseases. Next, we'll look at the short volume data for ENZC. So as we know, hedge funds, many of them are shorting these types of stocks, which is very unfortunate while these companies struggle to survive. You can see here the average percent shorted for Enzolytics has been about 35% over the past 5 days. So that's a significant amount, pushing the stock price down, which again, like I said, is very unfortunate, and you need to watch out for that if you are investing in Enzolytics. These shorts will continue for a while until the company can show some significant sales and financial results and improvements. Here you can see the MarketWatch performance for Enzolytics for the year, which unfortunately is down 60%. Year to date, it is up over 15% though. You can see the 3-month negative performance, but for 1 month and 5 days, it's a little over 3% each. So this is good news. In looking at ENZC security details, you can see the market cap of 219 million, authorized shares of 3 billion, which is definitely a significant amount, outstanding shares of 2.7 billion, and a float of 2.3 billion, which makes it very hard to move this stock on good news with that large of a float. But we're hoping in the future, as these studies are done, they can buy back shares and reduce their float. So it'll be easier for the stock to move on good news. In looking at the stock chart, we're looking at the 2-year stock chart for Enzolytics. You can see that in February of 2021, it reached a high of 95 cents. And since then has been sliding back down to a current support level close to 8 cents. In looking at the year-to-date stock chart, you can see just a closer view here of the stock now basing and bouncing off that resistance of about 8 cents. So hopefully we'll be able to see some recovery at some point in the stock price. One thing I did want to make you aware of is Gaurav Chandra, MD from Enzolytics, made this Twitter posting about the AI-driven diagnostic transformation of healthcare. And of course, Enzolytics is greatly involved in AI. Let's look at that article. AI-driven diagnostics transform healthcare. This is from April 4th. So healthcare is evolving to become more predictive, preventative, personalized, and participatory. P4 medicine embodies the healthcare of the future and artificial intelligence. AI is the roadmap by which to plot its course. The incorporation of AI into healthcare improves access and quality and significantly reduces cost and improves clinical outcomes while complementing physicians' efforts. After the pandemic, the world still faces massive challenges in detecting and diagnosing many life-threatening illnesses, infectious diseases, chronic medical maladies, and cancer. Patients are best helped by prevention, early detection, diagnosis, and AI is rapidly becoming indispensable in healthcare. Several successful applications exist, ranging from applying pattern recognition software to pre-process and analyze digital images to deep learning, or DL, algorithms for the subtyping of disease classification. Using machine learning, ML, researchers employed AI algorithms to screen patients more accurately and reduce the number of expensive imaging techniques required to make a diagnosis. Instead of starting with thousands of costly medical images, they began with just a single one from which they extracted billions of information packets. These information packets included colors, pixels, geometry, and rendering of the disease on the medical image, and converting one image into billions of data training points, drastically reducing the data needed to train computers to recognize potential pathology. Next, they started with a picture from a mobile phone, overlaid the previously extracted billions of information packets onto this picture, and created composite pathology images. They only required 50 of these composite images to achieve higher algorithm efficiency. So of course, Enzolytics has a robust AI platform which complements its drug development, and they use a proprietary AI methodology to identify immutable targets on viruses and produce monoclonal antibodies that target these sites and develop universal, broadly neutralizing, durable antibodies unaffected by virus escape. Additionally, it has innovative approaches to diagnose viral infections based on the presence of these immutable targets. Documented studies show better clinical outcomes and delayed progression of diseases if patients have the antibodies to these conserved targets. Enzolytics is working on prognostic tests utilizing AI to predict the immune response before any viral therapy is received. This is really great news. And again, as I mentioned before, it will reduce the amount of vaccines needed. The key to utilizing AI most effectively in the clinical context is to create diagnostic tools that have the ability to predate disease development and progression. Over the past few years, scientists have noted the potential of utilizing ML tools to develop clinical decision algorithms. DL techniques have been helpful in radiology, as well as aiding in diagnosing and prognosticating diseases like COVID-19, viral pneumonia, and even breast cancer. For example, during the pandemic, several reputable institutions looked at the promise of using ML for fast and accurate detection and prognostication of COVID-19. Incorporating AI into healthcare and the continuous technical advances through physical, digital, and biological spaces can cause a paradigm shift in healthcare and achieve medical miracles. This will shift healthcare from reactive disease care to predictive, preventative, personalized, and participatory care. This article from April 4th, the FDA says COVID vaccines may need to be updated to ensure a high level of effectiveness against virus. The current approved COVID-19 vaccines may need an update to ensure a high level of protection as the virus continues to evolve, according to the FDA. So the FDA also said in a statement published ahead of an advisory committee meeting that scientists still don't entirely understand COVID variants and the effectiveness of the vaccines. For example, mutations to the spike protein, which is used by the virus to invade human cells, have reduced effectiveness of current vaccines. That's because today's COVID shots were developed to target the spike protein in the original strain of the virus that emerged in Wuhan, China in late 2019. Well, that was quite a while ago. No wonder why the vaccines have dropped in effectiveness. So I'd love to hear your comments below, what your thoughts are about Enzolytics, what you think about their future, and how these studies are going. Also, let me know about any other stocks that you are liking right now that you'd like me to know about and possibly review. Remember to subscribe for our 60 Perfect newsletter so you can be notified before videos like this come out and on urgent market news. Make sure and go here to look at our ENZC playlist as well as our latest video on another OTC stock that you'll be excited about.